Good morning, my name is Michelle Landay. The date today is March 14th, 2019. This is my week 6 video for my Bio 240 class, the digestive system. Basically what we're going to do is go over what happens with when you take a bite of a cheeseburger and how it processes through the digestive system. So what happens is initially we take a bite of the cheeseburger, it goes into our mouth, and we start to chew, and the saliva glands start to mush up the food and help us break it down. Then we are going to swallow, and it's going to go into our esophagus, which runs alongside the trach, and that's where the smooth muscles take over, and it's perisystolis smooth muscle. It's automatic. We don't have to really worry about it. It just starts moving the food down our esophagus, and then it drops it into our stomach. Our stomach is like it's a hollow organ until we eat, and then once that happens, the enzymes in the stomach start to mix with, they release an enzyme and a very strong acid, and that starts to process the food and swish it around kind of like a washing machine and break it down even further. Once it gets into enough to get released into what the next would be the small intestine, and there's 3 parts. You have the duodenum, the jejunum, and the ileum, but the most is the duodenum part. So it goes in there first, and as that happens, you have your liver starts to take place, and that secretes a bile that goes into the gallbladder, and the gallbladder releases that into that part of the intestine, and it breaks down the fat. And then you have the pancreas too that starts to break down, and it secretes digestive enzymes, the pancreas does, and that breaks down the proteins and the fats and the carbohydrates. The pancreas also is for insulin. It helps metabolize the sugars in our body, so that goes into the bloodstream. So once it's done there, it moves along, it goes into the jejunum and the ileum, and it continues to absorb the nutrients into the body that we need. And as that goes, it goes into the large intestine. The large intestine then starts to push the food out. It goes and travels all the way through, and it makes it so we have all the stuff that we need in our bodies from the food, but the stuff that we don't need, it starts to push that out. And once it travels through the large colon, it goes into the rectum, where it kind of sits and waits and till we're ready to use the restroom. The thing about the rectum I found kind of interesting, it can tell you whether or not it's a gas, a solid, or a liquid. I didn't know that, but it makes perfect sense now. Once it travels into there, it drops into your anus, and you excrete the whole entire bad stuff, the stuff you don't need, out of your body. So that's it. That's the digestive system for week 6, and I will see you guys next week for week 7, and have a good weekend.